There are only a few places where headlines such as President Bush seeking non-masturbating Surgeon General and Mother Teresa sent to hell in afterlife mix-up are put alongside reviews for the newest albums, movies, and books. Of course, I'm speaking of the Madison institution, The Onion. Backstage Pass decided to go to the offices of The Onion to find out a little bit more about America's finest news source.
Well, The Onion started in 1988 here in Madison as sort of a means of distributing pizza coupons to students on campus.
Sure.
It started out with a circulation of about 10,000, and was sort of more of like a wacky weekly world news kind of parody. I believe the first story on the first cover story was Mendota Monster Mauls Madison, and it was like I wouldn't even call it photoshopped image of like some little serpent creature emerging from Lake Mendota from a long distance. Okay. And over time, it sort of evolved into more of a straight-faced newspaper parody, sure, like you see today. In 1995, it went color and was made more of like a straight-up AP-style USA Today parody. Okay. And that's more or less what you've seen today. In 1996, we went on the web, and from there, we've been able. That's afforded us the opportunity to do books and other projects outside of the newspaper. Unfortunately, a lot of our staff recently moved to New York, sure, and took a lot of the crazy crap on the walls with them. Because in the past, we could I could wave you past miles of clutter. And
while we may have come across a few box-filled rooms, we did get an opportunity to see a few things you usually don't find in the offices of most newspapers. We also got to ask the writers of the satirical side of the paper and the AV Club some interesting questions, like where do you get those ideas from, as well as a few other queries that provided for some interesting responses.
Not just things that are happening in the news, but the way the media covers them. Sure. Most of us went to the University of Wisconsin. We were kind of befriended each other in college, and we have a lot of the same kind of cynical viewpoint. I mean, we were into, Mad Magazine as kids, Monty Python, National Lampoon for some of us. I never was really interested in National Lampoon because it was pretty much had degraded into tit jokes.
It's interesting. I liked hip hop a lot when I was growing up. I was a big fan of hip hop, and sort of as I got older, I sort of lost touch with it. And then a couple of years ago, Steven started giving me albums to review, and I kind of got back into it. And now, 96, 97% of what I listen to is rap music. Excellent. So I do that. I write movie reviews. I interview people. I write movie jokes. Sure. It's great. I mean, the great thing about working for The Onion is you can basically determine what you want to do. There's not, Steven doesn't say, hey, I want you to review this, hey, I want you to do that. You can basically make up your own work. As long as you're not, reviewing Byron from, 20 years ago or something.
And people just instantly said Onion, joke paper, and I still do, of course. But I think once you read the AV Club, you pretty much realize that. Yeah. I mean, every once in a while, though, I'll be scanning for it, so like on news groups and stuff, and it'll be like, I don't know whether this review is a joke or not, but the AV Club gave a thoughtful mixed review.
I'm sure we have our limits there somewhere, and I like to think we don't. I mean, we try to, but I'm sure we must somewhere. Maybe it'll be tested in the oncoming months. I don't know.
MC Scat Cat never really followed through on the promise of his early work, sure, and I don't really think you can take him seriously as an artist unless you can sustain the. It wasn't so much. I mean, his early work. You can't really say it was that accomplished, but there was this spark that made you want to see more stuff from MC Scat Cat, and it was pretty calculated what he actually did, and we weren't happy with it. So.
I feel a close emotional bond with the dog pound, particularly Daz Dillinger, who's a spiritual role model. I don't think that's necessarily too strong a word for him. And Keith actually, no, not Keith, Steven actually gave it to me when I started working here. That was probably 97, 98. God, I've been here like 4 years. It's been a long time. But yeah, gradually we've acquired all sorts of crap. But in fact, I would say that is the defining force in our office is the crap that we've accrued on our walls and on our desks. See, we have an exciting non-corporate environment here at the Onion, as our ads always say.
So what about the guys who make the Onion look so good?
We're not politically correct, so a lot of clients just, corporate clients often just won't run with us, period.
So I have a lot of experience with phone sex ads, which makes me very proud. But I designed, for example, some of my special projects were the first 60 years of the Ardum Century book, which I'm pretty proud of. And due to that, hi Uncle Joe, I'll probably die at the age of 35 of cumulative sleep deprivation. But it was worth it. I think it's pretty fine work.
So there you have it, a brief but also revealing look into America's finest news source, The Onion. If the copy version's not enough for you, you can check it out online at www.theonion.com. We'd like to thank The Onion staff for letting us go through their offices and bug the living hell out of them. I'm David Villar for Backstage Pass, and I'd like to leave you with Keith Phipps's own moving perspective of The Onion.
It's satire. All these years I've been sorely mistaken about this whole thing.